Predict what the 29th and 103rd terms in each pattern will be. Explain how you know and how the core of the pattern helped you predict. So in this worksheet, we have 4 patterns to work with, I think, maybe 5. So you get to choose what patterns you're working with. I'm going to showcase this first pattern. So this first pattern is a number pattern that repeats, and I want to find the core. So the pattern goes 4, 5, 8, 4, 5, 8, 4, 5, 8. So my core is, I'm just going to do a freehand drawing, which never turns out that great. But I'm going to circle the core. Oh, not so bad, Mr. Davis. Oh, I have a mouse today, that's why. All right, so I have a core and I have 3 terms in my core. Okay, so I'm just gonna write that down here. So I'm gonna use my typewriter. So just gonna make a little chart. So I've got terms, and then I'm just gonna use the space bar to make a really so-so chart, and then term value. But just like in Jacob's example, the first term of my pattern, the term value, is 4. So the first term is this one, and the value, which means what it's worth or what it says, it's 4. All right. The second term in my pattern is 5. And the third term in my pattern is 8. The question tells me to figure out the 29th, 55th, and 103rd terms in each pattern. There's a couple ways I could do that. One way is I could just keep extending my chart all the way to 29, and then I could extend it all the way to 55, and then I could extend it all the way to 103. But that seems like a lot of work. Hopefully I'm not making any mistakes while I'm doing this. And you could feel free to do that, and that will work for you. The problem is, in math, we also want to be efficient. I used that word earlier. We also want to be efficient. So there is a more mathematical way that we could figure out our future term values. So if I want to know what the 29th term will be in this pattern, well, I know that it repeats. It goes 4, 5, 8, and I know that 8 is the third term. So in brackets, I'm just going to write 8 is the third term. So that means if I kind of count by 3s, so 4, 5, 8, so that means 8 would also be the sixth term. So then that means if I keep counting by 3s, 8 would be, counting by 3s, so 8 would be the 9th term, 8 would be the 12th term, 8 would be the 12, 13, 14, 15th term, the 18th term, oops, the 18th term, 8 would be the 21st term, 24th, 27th. Ooh, and now I'm going to slow it down because I'm getting close to 29. So if 8 is the 27th term, then, okay, 4, let's write that thinking out. If 8 is the 27th term, then what comes after 8? 4 comes after 8, so 4 would be the 28th term, and 5 would be the 29th term. So we know that the 29th term would be 5, and that's one of our answers. So I'm just going to move this up here where we can see it a little bit better. And I'm going to keep track of my answers down here. So I'm going to put a new typewriter in. I'm going to say, okay, the 29th term is, and then down here I could say the 55th term is, and the 103rd term is. All right. So I'll be interested to see which patterns you guys choose. You could all choose, if you wanted, you could choose pattern A because I helped you through it at the beginning here. But here's another number pattern you could choose. Or if you want, there's shape patterns that you could choose. And that's also interesting to me. So we'll talk a little bit more about this to start our lesson tomorrow.